So the nominations for the Game Awards have officially come out today. That's right. The Game Awards have been announced. It is going to be on December 12th of when it is officially going to be announced of who wins Game of the Year and all the other categories. But today we officially got the nominees for every single category. I think altogether there's something like 12 categories or something like that, but we're not here to talk about every single category and go over every single one and say who deserves it on every single on each category. No. We're here to talk about the controversy that has been surrounding the Game Awards because, oh my god, is there a lot of controversy that has been going on. And it's not just from one thing. It's multiple different aspects, multiple different things that have caused a lot of controversy through the Game Awards. And the first one that we're going to be talking about, the one that's plastered right in front of our face, and that is the nominations for Game of the Year. And this right here is the nominations for Game of the Year. Astrobot, Balatro, Black Myth Wukong, Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and Metaphor ReFantazio. And the reasons why this has caused a lot of controversy is for three of these games, really. And they're all kind of like for separate reasons. One, Balatro being on there. Now, this game is a great game. I've heard great things about this. I haven't played it. It's on my Steam wish list, and I'm probably actually going to be buying it at the end of year sales for Steam because I've heard it's great. Should it be nominated for Game of the Year? I don't think so, no. There is so many better games that you could have been put on there. I mean, Stellar Blade is 100% one of them. I know the whole entire thing surrounding Stellar Blade is how sexualized the character is, and that's really the only thing that a lot of people are concentrated on. But besides that part, it's actually a really great game that actually probably deserved to have a nomination for Game of the Year. Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree being a DLC for Game of the Year. And then Final Fantasy VII Rebirth being a remake, also being on Game of the Year. So 2 out of the 6 of these games are DLC and remakes, which to me, I think should have its own category. DLC should be its own separate category, and remasters/remakes should be its own category as well. Game of the Year should be games that were made, like full-fledged games that were made in that year that it's being nominated. Yes, Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree, amazing DLC, but it's not like essentially a game. Like, it's a downloadable content. It's not a standalone game itself. It's an expansion to an existing game. You can't buy Shadow of the Erdtree by itself without buying Elden Ring. And that's no way to take away from it. I played Shadow of the Erdtree, and yes, the final boss in that DLC made me want to jump out my window every single time I died, but besides that, amazing DLC. And if there was a category for DLC of the year, it would 100% win by a landslide, but it should no way near be in the Game of the Year. Exact same with Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Yes, I've seen a lot of people say that, oh, but they're expanding on Final Fantasy VII. It's not really the same thing. Like, yes, it's like based off Final Fantasy VII, but they split it into 3 games and it's like expanding on it. It's still a remake. It's still 100% a remake. And if you're allowing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth into this, then why is Balatro over something like Silent Hill 2? I mean, the Silent Hill 2 remake was amazing. Got amazing reviews for it. Same with Persona 3 as well. If you're allowing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth into it, then Persona 3 should 100% get a Game of the Year nod. So to me, the Game of the Year is got to be Black Myth Wukong, without a doubt. I mean, I think second would have to be Astrobot out of all of these. But to be honest, I definitely think that this is a weak nominations. There are 3 out of the 6 games really on here didn't really deserve to be here. And this is not to take away from Balatro. I think that it's going to win, and it should win like Indie Game of the Year. I definitely think that it should because I've heard amazing things about it. I've seen gameplay of it, and I like small little indie games like this, and I definitely think it's a great game. I've heard only good things about it and deserves Indie Game of the Year. But Game of the Year? No, I don't really think that it should be on there. And like I said, if you're allowing remakes and remasters, well, you've left out 2 of the big two games that were remakes this year that were amazing in Persona 3 and Silent Hill 2. And then we got to talk about some games that didn't even deserve to have any nominations whatsoever. Even if it's like for a small little category, such as innovation in accessibility. I'm sorry, but Dragon Age the Valguard and Star Wars Outlaws do not deserve any place in the Game Awards. I don't give a fuck if it's inaccessibility and it's all about accessibility and how people play the game, it's all about, you know, the colorblind settings and this and that and all blah, 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 blah. I don't give a fuck. But I'm sorry, there are some games that are just that bad and that much of a fucking disappointment that they do not deserve to have anywhere no nominations whatsoever in the Game Awards. Dragon Age: The Vanguard and Star Wars Outlaws is one. And now Dragon Age: The Vanguard being in this category, I'm not too fussed about it, but at the same time I'm like, it doesn't deserve it. But the fact that Star Wars Outlaws got a nomination for Best Action Adventure Game, I'm speechless. Did the people who like actually nominate like play the game properly or watch gameplay? I didn't play it myself. I want to, because I really want to make a video about it of how like I could improve Star Wars Outlaws, at least from a story perspective wise and like just in general, because I've watched gameplay of it. I've watched extensive gameplay of it to the point where it's like I've pretty much played the game, but I want to like actually play it myself. But did you watch some of the gameplay? Did you watch the stealth in like just the stealth gameplay alone shows you that it is not deserving of this nomination? I'm sorry, but Star Wars Outlaws should not have been nominated. Best Action Adventure Game? Really? Really? You couldn't come up with any other games to be nominated for this? No. Astro Bot or Silent Hill 2 will 100% win this category. I'm guessing Astro Bot will, but Silent Hill 2 is definitely gonna like be up there as well. And then we also have this category as well, which I mean, a lot of people just, I've seen a lot of people bash this category really, really heavily. Someone I saw on Twitter called it the DEI award, which it's called Games for Impact. And if you go on the website when you're like nominating for each games, it says for a thought-provoking game with a pro-social meaning or message. You know what? I'm not too fussed about this that much as other people are. I've seen a lot of people lose their minds over this category. And I mean, I have not, besides Hellblade 2 and Life is Strange, these other 4 games, I have no idea what these are. Close to the Distance, Indicta, Tales of Kenzeru, Zor, Neva. I have no idea what these games are. I hope Life is Strange wins this, because I've only heard like, you know, Life is Strange is amazing, is an amazing game. I haven't played it myself, but I've only heard amazing things about this. But you know what? I'm not too fussed about this category as much as other people are. If they want to have some social, like, meaning, message kind of award, that's fine. Because if they have their own award, that's cool, because then they stay out of the other awards and they don't feel like they need to push, you know, some games into awards like they have with Dragon Age. Now, when it comes to the nominations, you're obviously wondering, Donnie, who the hell nominated some of these games? I mean, if you're saying what you're saying, and if you think that, you know, Dragon Age: The Vanguard shouldn't have gotten any nominations, Star Wars Outlaws, why the hell did that get a nomination? What is with Game of the Year? Balatro? Why is DLC and remakes getting it? Who nominated these games? Well, this has been a controversy for like a few days now. And when it officially came out, when it officially got leaked of who is actually taking part of the nominations and the winners as well. This isn't just for the nominations, but this is who is going to be deciding the winners of this year's Game Awards. 90% of the decision will be put to a jury. And you're going to be asking me, Donnie, who is this said jury, as it is only showing that 90% of the voting is going to be done by the jury, while the public vote is only going to be put as 10%. Who is this jury? Well, drum roll, please. IGN, Inverse, Jeff Greasom's Show, Kinda Funny, LA Times, MinMax, PC Gamer, Polygon, VentureBeast, The Verge, Touch Arcade, What's Good Games, Game Rant, NPR, Pride.com, and Variety. What in the actual hell is this jury? I'm sorry, but like 3/4 of these guys should not be on here. IGN is a complete joke these days. The fact that they gave Dragon Age: The Vanguard a 9 out of 10, and then what was it, like Wukong an 8 out of 10, to me, that just completely dismisses them, and they should not be on here whatsoever. Some of these publications aren't even game related. What the is the LA Times doing on here? The LA Times isn't games. They don't know what they're not in touch with actual video games. They don't know what the hell they're talking about. And then Pride.com as well. You know that a website and a publication like Pride.com, they're just only there to push an ideology. That's their whole point. I don't want some ideology pushing ahead of what they think should be winning game of the year, because they're not going to be looking at it from a perspective of what game was actually good. They're going to be looking at it from a perspective of what pushes our ideology the most. I mean, this is probably one of the worst juries that you could have ever put to associate with the Game Awards and who decides who wins Game of the Year. You know who I wanted as the jury? I want you to go to every single game store in America, like one of those trading card stores, one of your local game stores, your fucking local GameStop. Pick out the biggest, fattest, stinkiest nerd that is in that GameStop. Maybe the guy who runs it. Pick him out. Put him on a jury. He is the one who deserves to be on the jury for Game of the Year. Those are the people who I want to decide Game of the Year. Not this. The Verge? The Verge is going to help decide what wins Game of the Year. Variety, Polygon, what the hell is kind of funny? I've never even heard of a couple of these. I've never even known that these existed. And these are the people that are going to be deciding 90% of the vote for Game of the Year. I'm sorry, but if anything besides Black Myth Wukong wins Game of the Year, we're rioting. It's 100%. A riot is going to be a side, and it deserves to be there. And then the last controversy that has come out about the Game Awards is that it has been leaked that supposedly Jeff Keegan, I think that's Jeff Keighley, sorry, I said Keegan, didn't I? Yeah, Jeff Keighley is actually putting a copyright out for the Game Awards. So he's trying to copyright the name The Game Awards. Now, I have no problem with him wanting to copyright his show so that he can monetize it to keep the show going for years to come and to keep making money of it so he can run it every single year. But the problem that I have with this is that the Game Awards is a very, very, very generic name. To copyright the name The Game Awards, that to me is way too generic. You need to come up with a longer name, a more sophisticated name than just the Game Awards. Because then anyone who's trying to then going forward to try and make their own independent video game award show is going to find it extremely hard. And Jeff Keighley will have an easy route when it comes to copywriting and taking other people's Game Award shows down, which I don't know if he will necessarily do, because I've actually heard a lot of people don't really like Jeff Keighley, but from people who have worked with him in the past, I know one example was Asmongold. He talked about it on his stream recently, is that he's actually a really nice guy and actually will help other people out when it comes to their game show awards as well, because he loves video games, which is why he created the Game Awards. But I still think that copywriting the name The Game Awards is way too generic. You need to add more to it. You need to make it more extravagant than just copywriting the word The Game Awards. But yeah, there has been a lot of controversy that has been surrounding the Game Awards this year, but I am definitely looking forward to the show itself. Make sure you guys go ahead and vote. I did vote for mine. I did it before I recorded this video, even though it's only 10%. I mean, it's something, right? Maybe that 10% will actually help the games that actually deserve to win. I swear to God, if anything that is dumb wins games, I mean, if Star Wars Outlaws wins Best Adventure Game, I'm going to throw myself and my computer out the window in GTA 6. But that's going to be it from me, guys. Make sure you like, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. Peace out.